Smile at all today?
Come on, guys. I haven't seen Dwight today, but I don't really take note of whether people are smiling or frowning or whatever. I mean, I just,
You're smiling today.
Sometimes. Other times I'm not. I mean, that's pretty much how everybody's day goes. So.
Can you describe just the dynamics of going into this training camp with all this obviously major uncertainty as to what the makeup of the team's going to be? Because
yeah, I mean, look, it presents a challenge to all of us because, you have this sense of, I'm having trouble with the word, but you have a sense of, that this isn't permanent, the group we have now, so you don't know if this is the group you're going to have going forward or not. I think the players feel it a little bit, wondering what's going to happen and when. And all you can do, that's not going to change until the situation resolves itself one way or another. So it's not going to go away. You have to handle it as professionally as you can and come out on the court and perform. And these guys are paid good money to do that. So are we as coaches. And we're all professionals. And that's the way we're going to approach it. I'm sure the locker room feels a little bit different in certain ways. But when we come out here, practices have been good. We've gotten a lot done, and I think that will continue.
So there's no strained atmosphere right now, Stan, and do you believe that the longer this goes on, the more propensity there would be to have a strained atmosphere?
I don't have any idea what'll happen as time goes on. That'll play out. Look, as a coach, Otis has got to deal with this a lot more than I do. As a coach, my job is to come out here and coach the team every day, and so my job doesn't really change. It really doesn't. So, that's been good, and practices have been good. What it'll be like tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday and 2 weeks from now, I don't know, but you never know because there's all kinds of things that, can be distractions in this league. There are always distractions, and there's always somebody who's a little bit unhappy for different reasons. So this is nothing new. It'll be, every NBA team this year, I guarantee you, nobody's got a team on the floor where all 12 or 13 guys are happy all the time and there's no distractions. There's always some distraction. And ours might just be a little bit bigger than some. But we'll deal with it, and I think we've got great guys of high character, including Dwight, who will deal with it very well.
Coach, when Dwight said that he wanted to be traded, did you consider that an indictment in any way of any of these, yourself, the organization, or the city?
No.
Stan, with all the discourse of this summer with the lockout and stuff, is this the best way for the NBA to come back, though? Not just saying stuff's going on here, but the veto and trades around the league and stuff. It's the best way for the NBA to kind of be back for the fans?
Yes and no. I think, certainly not the way we wanted the NBA to come back, and I think the NBA, if you, I can't speak for them, but I would think that they would want, in some ways, things to be a little bit more positive than they've been. But at the same time, the Chris Paul, Dwight Howard situations have created a tremendous amount of interest to the point that I don't hear any mention of the lockout or anything else anymore. It's just those two situations. The NBA has really gone to the top of the sports news in the last few days in the middle of an NFL season and everything else. So the NBA is probably getting more attention right now than they normally would at this point in December. So I would say that there's some positive to it for them also. There's not a lot of positive to it for us, but for the NBA in general, I think there's some positive to it for them.
Stan, how do you feel about the small to mid-major markets losing their stores? What's your stance on that?
I don't know that I have a stance because it really is not anything open for opinion. It happens.
Wasn't it supposed to be fixed, though?
Well, they certainly talked about that, and there's certainly, I'm just reading the same paper as you are, that, there's certainly some small market owners who thought it was supposed to be fixed. But we don't really, and I can speak for Otis on this, he doesn't worry about that stuff. He just waits for the rules to come down, and you deal with the rules as they are. The only thing we're focused on is trying to do what's best for the Orlando Magic, both in deals and on the court and everything else. And we're not sitting around crying or complaining about what the rules are. We operate under the rules as they are, and we're going to do the best job we can. That's it. So, I don't really worry too much about what the system is because I don't have any control over that.
Coach, what about the Orlando Magic fans? Understandably, they may be feeling some frustration. The season starting late, talk that they may lose their star player. How do you keep them engaged and enthused? What do you want to say to the fans?
Well, I mean, the only thing we can do is just go out and put the best product we can on the floor. And we're going to work as hard as we ever have. And I'm talking we, Otis, the coaching staff, our players, going to work as hard as we possibly can to put a great product out on the floor. That's really our role in this at this point.
Stan, what can you say about the new faces right now on the Magic roster? We have Pruitt, Hughes, possibly Glenn Davis, or officially now. What can you say?
I can't talk about that one. At least they haven't told me I can. So, look, Larry Hughes and Gabe Pruitt are two guys with NBA experience who've come in and proven that they're very smart guys, know what it's like to play in this league, and they've gotten off to a good start of 3 days of training camp. The two rookies, I mean, they're adjusting, to life in the NBA, and things moving fast and everything else, but I think they've done a great job. I mean, I think that they're smart guys, they're hardworking guys, and, they're doing a good job. It's awfully early to start really judging people, particularly new people, because right now, I mean, we haven't done a lot of 5-on-5 play. We'll do more in the coming few days. But also, everybody gets better once they get more comfortable with what you're doing. And those guys aren't as comfortable as, say, the returning guys are. So I'm not looking at practice right now to evaluate guys. I'm looking at practice to get our team ready to learn what we're doing. As we get further down the road and into the exhibition games and closer to the start of the regular season, then obviously we have to make some evaluations, but it wouldn't be fair to those guys right now.
Stan, playing off of what you just said, if a deal with Dwight is imminent, if it is going to happen, does it do you and your staff good to have it done sooner? Because you need to know what kind of hand you're being dealt.
You know what, it's just there's all kinds of considerations, but you have to have what is best for the Orlando Magic organization. So, of course, having the situation resolved one way or another would be better than having it linger for a long time. But that's balanced by the fact that this is a decision that's going to affect you long term. So you have to work to get the best deal you can possibly get. And that may take a lot of time, and it may never happen. I mean, that's the one thing people have got to understand, I think, when you do these deals. If you put all the options on the board, it's very possible sometimes that the best option is to do nothing and write it out. So, there's a lot of people out there that, would love to give you basically nothing for the best center in the league, and Otis is looking for the best deal, and however long that takes, it takes. And, like I said, from a coaching standpoint, it really doesn't change anything. You coach the team you have on that day, and we'll continue to build around Dwight as we go through training camp. And then if something changes, like last year we made trades, then you make changes. I mean, until then, though, you can't change now. And he's still here.
You say that sometimes the best option is not to do anything. Is that an option the Magic that haven't taken a few times in the last few years? Are they maybe over?
Well, no, I think
made too many moves?
No, again, I mean, I think that the one thing since I've been here, at least, I can't speak before that, but since I've been here, our management, Otis, the owners, have been very aggressive in trying to do everything they could to make this team better. And, I like that, and I think the fans of Orlando should like that. Now, what fans want you to do, and I understand that, is they want you to make moves to continue to better your team, and they want every move to work out perfectly. I think sometimes it's a lot easier, and you certainly give yourself a lot less chance of being criticized if you just sort of sit there and do nothing. And Otis hasn't taken that approach. I appreciate that, among a lot of other things, in working for him, and he will do the same thing here. He'll be very aggressive in trying to do what is best for the Orlando Magic.
Dwight mentioned he wanted more input. What are your feelings about the amount of input a star player should have in the deals that are made?
I don't have any comment on that at all.
Has your relationship with Dwight been strained at all these couple of weeks since the lockout is over?
You know, I wouldn't say that. No, I mean, you know, coaching on the floor, he's been fine in practice. You know, our conversations have been pretty casual. Have not talked as much in depth in terms of basketball and things like that. I don't want to right now. First of all, he's, you know, going through a lot and hearing a lot from other people, and Otis is handling the business part of it for the Magic. I don't want to insert myself into that at this point.
But you've not been asked not to do that?
No, I haven't been specifically asked not to, but you know, there's enough going on, the conversation back and forth, and it's, you know, Dwight's agent and Otis in our front office and Dwight, and I think it's best I stay out of that, and I just stick to coaching him on the court. It hasn't been strained. I mean, I've asked him, you know, about his son, and about his family. I mean, I haven't felt any strain at all. I just haven't tried to insert myself into this conversation. I don't really think it would be the right thing to do for our organization.
Do you think that Glenn Davis, Big Baby Davis, coming?
I can't talk about him right now.
You can't even project him as a back.
I can't talk about him right now. I'm not allowed to at this point.
Do you like your roster?
You are correct.
I cannot talk about it. That's a thought.
Do you like your roster as being a contender?
Right now, yeah. I mean, I do. I like our roster. I think it's got a chance to be very, very good. So, you know, as always, and probably even more so in this shortened season, I think health is going to be a huge part of it. You know, and there's some significant risks in playing on such short preparation. I'm not talking about just for us, but for all the players around the league. That I think the risk of injury goes up. I think that'll be borne out by what happened the last time, and so I think if you can stay healthy, and some of that may be how you manage your team, and a good part of that, as always, is luck. But it'll play a big role. Health always plays a big role.
Last thing here. Do you think of Daniel Wharton and some of the first-year additions, whether they're rookies or veterans, that you're going to look for right now major contributions from any of those guys?
I would say, you know, the three rookies, if you're counting Daniel as a rookie with DeAndre Liggins and Justin Harper, I think just because of who we have and the fact that they don't have much experience, and then add that to the fact that we've got such a short training camp, I would think it would be hard for them to gain, you know, major minutes, but that doesn't mean they couldn't find a role somewhere down the road in the season. Larry Hughes and Gabe Pruitt, you know, if they are able to make the team, they both got some NBA experience, and you know, possibly. And then, you know, anytime you have a roster, everybody's about one injury away from being able to play, so you want everybody ready to go. Right now, all I know is all of those guys are working hard and performing well.
Okay. We got one more for Shannon.
Okay. Hi, Shannon.